Gene, since we last talked to you, your plans have kind of changed. What happened in the last 24 hours?
Well, we were advised by our lawyer that there is some interesting things that happen in this state when it is in a state of emergency. And being that we own our property and we are, we also operate it. We don't lease, we don't rent, none of those things. There is the possibility that that is at risk. And with that information and a few other things that need to be done concerning the way we have our business set up, those things need to be taken care of first and foremost, which we should have done a long time ago, but never in a million years would have thought something like this would happen. So our plan at this point in time is not to move forward on the opening today, but we will be opening on Friday under the guise of to-go. Food and drinks and alcohol will be allowed to be sent out the door. We will be posting a to-go menu, and also we will be packaging our famous trash cans to go. So if people are interested in that, we're more than happy to support that with them. And we cannot, absolutely cannot say thank you enough to everyone who has supported us in this endeavor. It's been terrifying, but we've fallen back on the love of all of our customers and people that we don't even know, who are just excited to see somebody step up and say, let me live my life. And we're getting there. It's going to take a little bit longer, but it's going to happen. I promise. All those people who put their faith in us, we will make it happen.
You told us yesterday that you're kind of backed in a corner right now with this situation, and which is why you were planning to essentially defy the orders today. Explain how challenging this time has been for you and why you decided to potentially defy the order today.
As we have stated all the way along, we don't feel it's right that anyone can undermine our rights as American citizens to survive, live in a state of comfort, take our livelihoods away. It's against the law in the United States for that to happen. And understanding that an order from the governor or anyone who is in a political position, it should not be taken as law. Because until it gets to Olympia, it's not a law. And we have the right to live our civil liberties. And we believe in that. We truly believe in that. But when the result is that it could end up taking everything we own, then we have to do a little bit of thought process. You know, I've always been someone who stands up for my rights, always. I am not easily shifted from that. It takes a lot for me to go, oh yeah, okay, you're probably right. But in this case, Tracy and I have worked 16 years to get where we are. And in the case of a couple of months, we may lose this. The business, we are not willing to lose our property.
Talk about the financial strain this pandemic has caused you guys. Give people at home a real idea of how difficult this has been for a small business.
Oh, it's been incredible. We're responsible for bills continuing, even though we are not open, making any income. We had money set aside for a little, surprise, some kind of a problem or something that might happen that would prevent us from operating, but not for 2 or 3 or 4 months. We had enough to cover things for the first month and maybe a week, and then started looking at things and went, oh my gosh. And in spite of all the stimulus activity that's going on, here, we can help your business, apply for this, apply for that. We did every application we could do. And up until a week ago, we had been passed over for the Paycheck Protection Plan. And we got this last one, and that will help us for another month or month and a half. But understand that 75% of that has to go to your employees. It's a paycheck protection plan. So we have to pay our employees. How are we to do that? And we have a limited amount of time to use that money too. And so how are we supposed to protect or make the payments that we need to make to our employees if they're sitting at home on unemployment that's paying them just as much to stay home? It's crazy. My employees are actively looking to come back to work. They miss the socialization. They miss the people that support us. And it's a circle of shame by the government, I think, because they look at us like we are over on the coast. Our situation over here is dramatically different. So dramatic that it's the difference between a color photo and a black and white photo. It's dramatic.
What would you say to elected officials in government who are keeping establishments like yourselves closed right now?
Well, first and foremost, I would say to Dr. Lutz that he needs to get on board us. Mayor Woodward is doing her best to get this side of the state opened up, to get our county opened up. And we fall under all of the recommendations that allow us to do that. I believe that the government thinks we're not smart. They think that we're going to go out and throw big, huge parties, and we're going to do things that are going to infect other people, that we're not going to follow what they're specifying we should do in order to maintain a level of sanity and safety. And unfortunately, they've got another thing coming, because there are a lot of brilliant people that know exactly what needs to be done. You know, my partner and I are both in that category of people that need to beware. Well, we've done everything we can and we're fine. I take care of my 89-year-old mother. She's fine. You know, there's a certain amount of disbelief in my heart that people cannot see the difference between what's happening on their side of the state and what's happening on our side of the state. It's really quite sad.
Speaking of Dr. Bob Lutz, you said that you would be applying for a pre-opening order or an application. Can you explain what that is and why you plan on applying for that?
Well, my lawyer actually put together a fabulous letter to Dr. Lutz explaining basically that it seems kind of interesting that there is the allowance for both of the casinos, which are within a mile of me on either side, to be open and operating without any overseeing whatsoever. And the first day that Northern Quest was open, they ran 8,000 people through their doors. I couldn't fit 8,000 people on this block. And I mean, I follow the rules. I'm tiny. I can keep an eye on the people that are in here. If they think that my little business, which is being subjected to my customers going elsewhere, is going to be as infectious as a situation like that, they're sadly wrong. And the letter basically states that. It basically says, hey, come on, you know, how can you let this and this happen and not allow people who have been in business for years lose their business simply because they're not, I don't want to say special, but special.
Obviously, this is going to be an ongoing kind of a developing situation with a lot of moving parts.
Sure.
24 hours ago, you thought you would be able to open today. Do you feel like the battle is just beginning, or do you think that it's going to continue on? Explain where.
No, I'm a member of several groups that are really striving to be allowed to operate. And there are a number of businesses that are operating. They're just doing it under, I keep calling it the black curtain, in a speakeasy style. I find that that's happening more and more and more. And they run the risk of having their licenses taken and so on and so forth. But what you don't know about, you can't do anything about. Could I have done that? Sure. Not really. I'm on a public highway. I have thousands of cars that go by here a day. I have all kinds of people that walk by here every day. I don't need to be under a black curtain. I need to be open.
And then I wanted to ask you, Jean, in the last 24, 48 hours, I'm sure you've been getting a lot of feedback based off the media attention and everything that's been on social media. There's people on both ends of the spectrum, people that definitely agree with you, but then people who don't. What would you say to your critics?
I believe that everybody has a right to their opinion. I've always been very open-minded, my partner, very open-minded. I understand that there is fear. And I truly believe that you have the right to stay home. You have the right to wear a mask. You have the right to wash your hands 50 times a day if that's what you want to do. I think that you absolutely shouldn't be coming after me or saying negative things about me. You should be saying things about big corporations that are opening, not following any rules of any kind. I've been in, I guess I have to quit mentioning it because I've been told not to, but I've been in several do-it-yourself places that I couldn't push a grocery cart around in. Nobody wearing masks, nobody, touching everything, nobody wiping off what's being touched. Businesses that are on either side of me that are operating beyond the spectrum of anything that I could possibly do. So if you want to be critical, look at the companies that are not following the rules. And I understand they pay a lot of money to campaigns and they pay a lot of money to the government and they're great tax places. But honestly, they depend on us to go into their stores. And if we don't have money to go into their stores, it's a ripple effect. It is a huge ripple effect.
Do you have any final words or any final thoughts of what you would like the community to know about this situation, the change of plans?
I would honestly like to apologize for being so incredibly in a hurry to do this and not really looking at the cost that it could be. My partner and I both totally love those of you who have supported us and been anxious to see this happen, but don't stop that. Don't stop that because